Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Hurricane Idalia to bring major impacts to portions of the west coast of Florida. This is now expected to become a major hurricane right before landfall, bringing major storm surge, flooding, damaging winds, tornadoes, and more. We're going to be breaking down everything you can expect here to get you prepared for the storm. Tropical Storm Idalia currently has winds of 65 miles per hour, just 10 miles per hour short of a Category 1 hurricane. This has a central pressure currently of 990 millibars, located at 20.8 north, 85.2 west, and movement is north at 8 miles per hour. Now, this was stationary last night, so this is definitely starting to move northward as it's still moving quite slowly, but it slowly is gonna give it more time to develop, possibly into a stronger hurricane. And here's the latest forecast cone for Hurricane Idalia. As you can see, it will become a hurricane at really any moment now. Any advisor, we are expecting a hurricane. We now have hurricane warnings out for the majority of the Big Bend of Florida there. We do have hurricane watches now extending out to near the Punta Gorda area, also near Panama City Beach. We got hurricane watches out. Tropical storm warnings out for right there now for Naples area. Key West is under tropical storm warning. Cuba currently under those hurricane warnings, as you can see, for the western coastlines of Cuba. And tropical storm warnings out right now for Cancun. As we go throughout time here, you can see 7 a.m. Tuesday it is expected to become a strong Category 1 hurricane. By 7 p.m. Tuesday, we will see a Category 2 hurricane. By 7 a.m. Wednesday, when it's making landfall, will be a major Category 3 hurricane. So this main area of concern is right now considering tornadoes, flooding, very damaging winds, lots of storm surge, up to 7 to 11 feet of storm surge across the Big Bend of Florida. Lots of impact is expected. If you have any evacuation orders in place, make sure to evacuate for your own safety, especially across the Big Bend of Florida. You're going to see some major storm surge, not almost as like we saw last year with Fort Myers. So definitely not a good situation with the Big Bend of Florida right now. You're also going to see some storm surge in Tampa, potentially up to 6 feet of storm surge in Tampa, which is not good. So again, if you have those evacuation orders in Tampa, Florida, make sure to follow those orders by your local officials and everything like that. We do have tropical storm watches out now for the east coast of Florida. As for the winds on the back side of this, that will be bringing some potential damaging winds to the east coast of Florida near the Daytona area, Jacksonville, and areas like that. We'll see some of those damaging winds. Here's the peak storm surge forecast, the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. As you can see, up to 7 to 11 feet of storm surge across the Bend of Florida. We have 4 to 7 feet across just next to these areas. 6 to 9 feet around the Anclo River area. As we head further south here, Tampa Bay could see 4 to 7 feet of storm surge. There's a lot of populated areas in Tampa Bay that are right next to the bay, so definitely want to follow those evacuation orders. Once again, if you do have those orders in place, we head further south and still 3 to 5 feet of storm surge can do some damage near the Inglewood area. As we head further south, Charlotte Harbor near 2 to 4 feet of storm surge, so not crazy amount of storm surge as we head further south, but definitely could cause some issues if it's any more than that. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge for Key West and the Florida Keys. We are getting some storm surge forecast now for the east coast of Florida. 1 to 3 feet of storm surge that extends all the way down here to maybe a portion of Daytona Beach, and Altamaha Sound could potentially see 2 to 4 feet of storm surge from this. Here's the latest rainfall forecast. As you can see, we're seeing a lot of rainfall over here just to the east of Tallahassee, just in between really Jacksonville and Tallahassee. You could potentially see upwards of 6 to 10 inches of rainfall within that orange area. Lots of rainfall expected here for the East Coast, the Carolinas. Wilmington might see 6 to 10 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of flooding that could cause some major flooding issues. Hatteras could potentially see again 6 to 10 inches of rainfall. On top of that, potential storm surge threat, as this will be circulating counterclockwise. So it'll bring storm surge over here into the Carolinas if it does go a little bit. Since it's going like this, it will definitely circulate around or bring some storm surge over to the Carolinas, and even Virginia could potentially see some storm surge from this as this heads out back into the Atlantic. And here's a flash flooding potential over the next 5 days here from the Weather Prediction Center. We do have a moderate risk in place for the Carolinas. This includes the coast of Georgia. This includes just between Tallahassee and Jacksonville. Includes Jacksonville, actually. It's a moderate risk for at least 40% chance of flash flooding, so that's a big chance. That'll definitely bring some flash flooding issues within those red shaded areas. We do have a slight risk for flash flooding. This goes down to Tampa Bay and Fort Myers, all the way up here into Richmond, Virginia, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Birmingham, Atlanta, and Tallahassee, and they all included in at least a 15% chance for flash flooding. Here's the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds. This will be a hurricane, so you're going to see hurricane force winds, but overall, the tropical storm force winds will extend pretty further out. As you can see here, we are expected to see tropical storm force winds extend in over potentially 100 miles of tropical storm force winds with this storm. By Tuesday at 8 p.m., southern Florida might see some tropical storm force winds here. So late tomorrow night, we could potentially starting to see these tropical storm force winds. By Wednesday at 8 a.m., I think this will make landfall overnight of Tuesday into Wednesday. So you will be seeing those hurricane force winds, tropical storm force winds, generally across this area right here, and that'll be heading eastward here as you will see that storm surge across the Carolinas and Virginia. You definitely have to be aware of that in the Carolinas, and I would start getting prepared now if you live along the coast. So again, stay tuned to your local officials. They'll give you the latest information you need on whether to evacuate or not. That was the latest update on Hurricane Idalia. We will be live for this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Turn on post notifications. You won't miss a single upload live stream on the channel. But as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.